I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Kelly's one-strike pitch. Swinging a fly ball, center field deep. Bellinger going back to the warning track, to the wall. It's a grand slam! Howie Kendrick has done it! They're going crazy in the Nationals dugout! Howie Kendrick with a grand slam here in the 10th inning of Game 5. The Nationals 7, the Dodgers 3. Do you believe it?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait!
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
Well, we have come to Friday, and this is the fantastic Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. And, yeah, it's my last one before I go in for surgery on Monday. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. I have to make a few changes, and I got to do it on the fly as we welcome you into April. When I took the dogs out this morning, it was snowing. What? But then again, this is Indiana. As you know, I go in for my cancer surgery on Monday, and I will be in the hospital that week. So Cole Johnson will take the chair, and I will make sure he and Will Otero and everyone that's involved with the program, well, they already know what's going on. I have an appointment this morning in Indy for one final COVID test, and that which will take the third hour out of the equation. So I'm going to let Chris Dietz and Mike Debate know that I'm going to leave at about 10 o'clock or maybe 10:30, so we can get to Indy with no problem. Well, it's a Friday. There's going to be some football talk. Jimmy Garoppolo is staying with the 49ers, worst kept secret. I will get into that. Bobby Wagner has signed with the Los Angeles Rams on a 2-year deal. Are they making another all-in run? I will get into that. But first, let me start with a couple of wonderful notes. The Lakers lost, and so did the Nets. And I got a third note. Did Doc Rivers throw shade at James Harden, saying after they lost to the Detroit Pistons that it was James Harden's fault? Did he actually say that aloud? What? Kudos to Doc Rivers for actually saying that aloud. Well, Doc Rivers, that's not going to be the last time that you say that, especially now that we have officially turned the corner into the month of April, and we all know what happens to James Harden during the month of April. He turns into Houdini. And what does Houdini do? He makes things disappear. So that is what James Harden is going to do. I mean, Chris Pirtle talked about it. Cole has talked about it, and I'm waiting for Cole to come on in. But James Harden is not the answer. I could have told you that. Ben Simmons is not the answer for Brooklyn. That was proven last night. Where is Ben Simmons when you need him? I'm all over the place this morning. But where is Ben Simmons? You know, the supposed Defensive Player of the Year who got robbed of his award. Really? Ben Simmons didn't get robbed of Defensive Player of the Year because he plays no defense. Yeah, I said it. I said it, and I'll say it again. Ben Simmons didn't get robbed of Defensive Player of the Year when Rudy Gobert won it last year because Ben Simmons doesn't know the concept of defense. He doesn't know the concept of being a teammate. He doesn't know the concept of being mature. I'm going there. He doesn't get the concept of being mature. He really doesn't. Why? Because if he really got the concept of being mature and being a basketball player, even given the trade, he'd have been there. He'd have been in uniform. So now all of a sudden, the frivolity that is his mental health issues and the frivolity that is a back issue, and I call BS on the back issue. We know what's going on. You know, if he suits up before the end of the season and actually helps the Nets, I'll retract my next statement. But Ben Simmons is a coward. That's right, I said it. Ben Simmons is a straight up 100% flat out coward. He's a coward. And if he wasn't such a coward, if he was such a great teammate, then he would have been there. He'd have been there for Philadelphia. He'd have taken those shots. He would have actually played sound, fundamental, here I go cussing again, basketball. Let me say that again as I welcome Cole Johnson to the party. He would have played sound, fundamental basketball, period. So as a statement I've said about James Harden when it comes to the playoffs, about Kyrie Irving, and I got a lot more on him since the Nets lost last night. And the same about LBJ. They're all frauds and they're all cowards.
Wow, that's some tough language. Brown sexers can't handle that. Irviologists can't handle that. The beardettes can't hear that. They can't handle that.
Well, why? It's the truth. Why can't they handle the truth? I mean, I forgot the name of the movie. What's the line? You can't handle the truth?
Yeah, A Few Good Men.
Thank you. That's the one I'm looking for. 1990. What's the matter, beardettes, bronzesexuals, Simmonsites, and Irvingologists? Can't handle it? I'll say it again. Players like Ben Simmons, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, they're all frauds.
Doggone it. Now I'm thinking about that mini scene.
What
do you want? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The truth.
And I can see all of these fan bases. Well, no, I'm sorry. All these obsessive harems that we're talking about be so petulant and bratty and saying, I want the truth.
How many times have we been told that over the course of us hosting this show together? Yeah. How many times have we been told that?
Yeah, and when we hand them the truth right to their face,
they didn't like it.
They don't like it to the point where they consider us hating, which makes me laugh.
Hating?
Yes, hating.
Hating? You mean to tell me that they were telling us, and God knows I've heard it, we were drinking the haterade?
Yes. We drank we drank all the gallon of haterade.
We drank a gallon of haterade because James Harden doesn't know how to score the basketball correctly?
Plus, we drink the haterade because we have seen year after laborious year, when the calendar turns after April 15th, he does a lot of disappearing acts like he's a magician.
Well, it's April 1st now, and Doc Rivers realized what he has or doesn't have.
Well, unfortunately,
unfortunately
for him, it's T-minus 2 weeks before that ship starts to completely tank, and you'll be seeing the 76ers season float into the Delaware River once again.
Because Doc Rivers last night, after a loss to the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons. Doc Rivers said,
What'd you say, Doc?
Quote.
No, Doc.
It's more James than them. Close quote.
You mean in terms of blame or in terms of importance on team?
How about option C, both? Because we know James Harden ain't got it when it comes to playoff competition. And James Harden just doesn't have it, period.
And this is why when I saw the question yesterday, this was a good legit question actually. So who do you have for MVP? And I said it's either going to be Giannis again or Jokic again. Embiid will not get it because Harden sank his chances.
What did I say after the trade, Cole? You remember that statement I said?
Yeah, you said quote, now that James Harden is on the 76ers, you can wave goodbye to Joel Embiid as the MVP of the 2022 NBA season. Close quote.
I was called all kinds of names for making that statement.
Well, I mean, in the last month, he is proving you correct.
Mm-hmm. People just don't want to listen. Or these thank you, Deeds. By the way, sits Jack Nicholson. Gotta love Jack you, Nicholson. Jack, but
yeah.
Colonel Jessup.
Nice shot, Deeds. I love that.
Thank you, Deeds. Thank you, Deeds. If time permits, as I explained at the top of the program, if time permits, we'll get Deets on, but it really depends because I have to go get one final COVID test before my surgery on Monday. And I can't believe it's Friday already, but I'm ready for this.
T-minus 3 days, baby.
Yep. This is 3 days from now. I will be kicking cancer square in the ass. Get out and stay out. Meanwhile, Kevin Durant found out what kind of team he has around him the hard way.
Let's get to this.
Please, let's get to this. Durant took the final shot of the game, missed the potential game winner. He hit 3 free throws as he was fouled in overtime to give the Nets the lead, but then the Nets messed up and fouled Giannis, who can hit free throws, by the way.
Yeah,
James Harden,
can hit free throws,
LBJ.
Yes.
LBJ. He can hit free throws, by the way, and he's approaching an 80% clip in his 8th season. Ha 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 ha. Jesus, sound like my grandchildren, but I love it. I love it. I love seeing the Nets fail. Why? Wow. Because Kyrie Irving got Kevin Durant into this muck. Want to do me a favor and find the lie?
All right, let me look. Okay, so I'm on Google.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Shaq says, if you don't believe me, Google. All right. Kyrie has had Durant's best interest from the start. All right. Search.
Whoa. I'll finish that search. I better do this one live.
And I thought Kyrie was like LeBron in having a wonderful basketball IQ.
Let's see. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this.
Exactly. Proven last night in an L that they needed to have a W in against a team that they so desperately need to win against.
It's a team they need to beat.
Mm-hmm. They need to show
because y'all ain't beating Milwaukee in a playoff series. It's not going to happen.
Didn't beat them last year when you had home court. You will not beat them when you are sans home court. And it looks like to me the Bucks are they're catching their wind and hitting their stride at the right time because
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Celtics with them. It's as if they look like a team you do not want to fool with come late April and May and possibly into June.
You know, another team people don't want to fool with that got a big win last night, the Bulls. DeMar dropped 50 on the Clippers' heads after the Clippers had a 16-point lead.
Well, this will make you smile. So if the season were to end today, I know, teams roughly have about 5 games left in the season. But if the season were to end today, the Bulls are the number 5 seed. Who is in the number 4 seed? The 76ers.
Oh, the Bulls will stomp a mud hole in that ass and walk it dry. Sorry for saying a bad word. They'll stomp a mud hole in their ass.
If the Bulls, I will put it this way. I like the Bulls' chances against all those teams except maybe the Bucks. But if they had to pick their first round opponent,
Philadelphia,
the Sixers would be the most ideal one for them.
Because everybody wants to talk about, the Bulls haven't beaten good teams all year. The Bulls haven't beaten Philadelphia all year. Yeah, that's why it's called a regular season and you warm up. Because once the playoffs get here, the Bulls are going to go into Philadelphia and smack them.
Well, how you doing, Cool? Well, you know this from personal experience. You watched the team in 1989 have this happen to them. Your Bulls, they played the Cavaliers 6 times. This is when they actually played divisional opponents 6 times in the season. And if I'm not mistaken, they were 0-6.
They were over. They had a losing record against the Cavaliers in the regular season, had a losing record against the Knicks in the regular season, and of course went 0-6 against the Detroit Pistons.
And they beat 2 of those 3 teams. And with the third team, they took them to a 2-1 series lead before losing.
And in all 3 cases, they snatched the first one on the road. In all 3 cases, they snatched one on the road. And to Game 5 of that Cavaliers series, I will never forget what Sam Smith said. He looked at the guy and said the Cavs would beat him. And Michael Jordan looked at the guy that said the Cavs would win in 3 and said, "We took care of you." Looked at the guy that said the Cavs would win in 4 and said, "We took care of you." And he looked straight at me and he says, "And today we take care of you."
Oh, Lord, the harbinger of things to come when it came to Michael Jordan. And if you're going to publicly doubt me, get ready to reap what I bring to prove you wrong. I love how people put so much stock in how things go in the regular season, but they really don't understand the regular season and the postseason are 2 different animals.
Way different animals.
My team, Rockets. And I have no bones to say it. Yes, I know they're the most horrible team in the NBA right now. Yes, I know. But
I like their future though.
Oh, I love the future.
I love the future.
In fact,
Steven Silas will have a Coach of the Year award in the very near future.
He deserves it because that dude went through so much Hades. And he's gone through so much Hades just to get the team that he wants. And now the talent is starting to come in. And if they're young, they just need time to blossom, like how the Grizzlies did it. So,
and the Grizzlies ain't fooling around, y'all.
They look really good, and it's not even 2022 that scares me. It's like 2024, 2025 with them that scares me, because if they stay together,
the start of possibly a dynasty.
Yes,
in Memphis.
Yes, because if they keep that nucleus together. Oh my gosh, we're going to be talking about.
They better keep that nucleus. They better keep that nucleus together.
We're going to be talking about a powerhouse
keep that nucleus together.
Yes. So you have this team now that's horrible in the Rockets. I mean, and look, in 2018, I was buoyed by the fact that we played the Golden State Warriors 3 times in that season and beat them 2 out of 3. But I already knew what was up. I was like, okay.
And we talked about this off the air too.
Yeah,
we knew what was up.
It's like okay, I have the confidence that my team can actually beat them, so they know the Rockets know that they can beat the Warriors. The question that I had even before that series started was, can they do it 4 times? Because that's what it will have to take. They did it 3, but they couldn't do it 4.
Yeah. And the bad part is they had not 1 but 2 shots.
2 shots. 1 in their to get it, 1 in their own building, and both times they had a double-digit lead at halftime.
And they blew it.
No excuses.
And they blew it. And I see the same thing with the Brooklyn mess. It's a mess.
So I people could say, well, hey, the Bulls, they seem to have a pretty good record, but man, they can't play jack against the teams that are supposedly the Eastern Conference beasts. Like, they can't lay a finger on the Heat, they can't lay a finger on the Bucks, they can't lay a finger on the Sixers, they can't lay a finger on the Celtics. Mid-April and on, it's a different story.
We beat the Celtics in their house.
Not only that, in their house, that team took a 14-point deficit in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and flipped it and turned it into a 14-point victory at the end of the game. A 28-point differential in 12 minutes.
39-11.
So
39-11.
So if you're going to say to me that the Bulls suck against teams that are over 500 or over 600, I'm sorry, you can miss me with that, because it's a different season, mid-April on. And I'm looking at DeMar DeRozan, who I think has been itching for the opportunity to prove that he is that stud player, and now he is the lead dog on a pretty good team that, if they were healthy, would be deep.
And the bad part about that, DeMar DeRozan wanted a 3-year deal. He was supposed to be a Laker.
Yeah, and the Lakers
he was supposed to be a Laker, and the Lakers fouled it up as usual.
Yep.
Per usual. And they messed it up. He's now a Bull for the next 3 years, and 3 playoff appearances, and the possibility, if they stay healthy next year, of a world championship appearance. We don't know what's going to happen this year. We don't know. The Bulls are locked in the playoffs, okay? They're locked into the number 5 seed. Hell, it could be possible they could flip Philadelphia and get the number 4 seed, but not with 5 games remaining.
No.
DeRozan dropped 50 on the Clippers. And, hey, Clipper fans, how are y'all taking that L you took in the Windy City last night in overtime? And let me answer Cool's question. How is Jokic it'll be Jokic and Giannis battling for the MVP. Embiid's done.
Yeah.
And I said that as soon as the trade happened with Ben Simmons and James Harden, who are both cowards, by the way. James Harden and Ben Simmons are cowards. LBJ and Kyrie are cowards. Okay, let me say it again. And as Cole described, it came out of my mouth so smoothly. LBJ, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons are examples of NBA cowards. Because if Ben Simmons really cared about playing basketball, he'd be in uniform. I'll wait.
Look, I don't know what to say on that. In terms of saying, you know what, Brian, you're wrong, because you're not. There was a reason why I said almost 2 months ago that when the Nets traded Simmons to the Sixers and Harden went from the Nets there, that they were swapping problems, because the same things that they were doing on the team before they were traded are the same things they're doing after the trade. Harden, he basically is causing a monkey wrench in how things are happening on whichever team he's on. He was doing that with the Nets. Now he's doing it with the Sixers. And Simmons, he wanted to have no parts of the court in Philadelphia. The same is true 106 miles northeast because he wants to have nothing to do with the court in Brooklyn.
Let me add, Chris Dietz throws a very great question there. Where's Memphis without John Morant? That is so true. That is so true. And Cool, you a fool for this. I'll let you read this.
Cool McCain writes, Simmons is the Wentz of the NBA.
We got to have a name for that harem. And let me stay with Ben Simmons for a minute. I had a friend who told me to watch Ben Simmons. And I said, why? He said, because he's going to be one of the greatest players in NBA history. I said, well, he has to get out of LSU first. And he said, you don't think he's that good? In 2 words, hell no. So what does he do? He sent me a mixtape of Ben Simmons.
Oh.
I watched 30 seconds of said mixtape, sent it back to him, and I said, okay, when he gets better, I'll let you know. And then he just, he got mad at me, which I didn't care. But he said, you really think Ben Simmons is that bad? I said, can I put it in 3 words? He says, go ahead. Ben Simmons sucks. The supposed defensive player of the year last year that got robbed? No, sir. Rudy Gobert earned that defensive player of the year award. Riddle me this, y'all. When does Ben Simmons play defense at key times? You're right, McCain. No jump shots were in that video. None. It was a 10-minute video, and all I needed to see was 30 seconds of it. No jump shots in that video.
So is it me when I think that people consider wing players who play defense to be sexier than post players? Because that's the only reason why I could think that they would think that Ben Simmons is a better candidate for a defensive player of the year or a defensive elite player than Rudy Gobert.
And now Simmons can't play. Ben Simmons doesn't play defense. Okay, can I? I'm going to release another statement that flows like a river, and you're going to get a kick out of this. When I say Ben Simmons doesn't play defense at all.
Are you saying that basically Ben Simmons is his defensive style is like a matador in Spain?
Worse than James Harden's.
It don't get any worse than James Harden.
Now it does.
That I have literally seen that dude in a game face somebody and step out the way and just give the ball handler the lane and to penetrate because he did not want to be posterized. I have seen it more than once, unfortunately. And I'm not talking about. And I'm not talking about
with Stephen Curry in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about highlights. I mean, in an actual game, where I'm like, you defend, idiot. I've seen it far too many times. And you're saying Simmons is worse than that? Wow. Morning, Ben. Wow.
What's up, Ben?
Now that your brother finds extremely difficult to believe. Because I've seen some pretty horrific defense from Harden over the past decade.
I've seen some horrific defense from Kyrie Irving. I've seen horrific defense from James Harden, of course, the leading matador in the NBA. And I've seen horrific defense from LBJ, who people still want to say to this point in time,
oh gosh,
that he is. Wait, do this right. It's my last one before surgery, but do this right. People say about you-know-who,
quote,
that at age 37, LBJ is still an elite defender.
Close quote.
Now, my response is the following.
Mm-hmm.
Before I give you the floor, my response is the following, and please forgive me. Are you out of your rabbit-ass rat-picking minds? I've seen defense be played at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden, Ben Simmons, and LeBron James ain't it. Nor is Kyrie.
Nope.
Find the lie.
Yeah, this is when I would hit people with the Charlie Murphy laugh. But this is when people think and they mistake athletic prowess for defensive acumen. Because what makes all three of those names you just mentioned when they actually want to play defense, and I'm not talking about Harden. He just simply doesn't even want to be invested on the defensive end until he wants to.
Yeah.
But what makes even James, even today, what makes him and Kyrie and Simmons good defenders in the eyes of many is the fact that they are athletic enough to cover up for faults and mistakes that they have. Like if someone just drives by them. They, if they are invested in wanting not to be shown up, they do have the ability to chase down and block. And so they considered that to be a good defensive-minded player. That's one of the tricks. Another is to deny a ball carrier, a ball handler, where he wants to be on the floor. Another is to straight up block a shot. Another is to strip and steal. Another is to actually play into the other defenders. That is all what takes place in what an elite defender does. None of them do all of that. None of them.
And none of them do it well. Let's welcome Sam Shady to the program. Good morning, Sam.
Morning, fellas. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I definitely cannot complain. Thanks for hopping on my live yesterday. I appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem. In fact, according to you, I left an impression on somebody last night by just being who I am.
You definitely did. My brother-in-law, Ricky Shizler, he was all about your style of analysis and thought you are absolutely hilarious.
Hey, you know this, Sam, as well as I. The truth hurts a lot of people. The truth hurts a hell of a lot of people. Speaking of which, let's talk some football. Bobby Wagner to the Rams. Your thoughts?
I think it's a great move. I think it's one of those things where a division rival is definitely trying to gain some internal insight to the Seattle defense. But at the same time, I think they also needed an inside linebacker. They traded away, I think it was Kenny Young last year. So it makes a lot of sense that they add him. It's a lot of money for him, and he's getting up there. But we'll see if he's provides enough value to them to make the contract worth it.
It helps enough. It helps enough. That's so true, Cole. But here's the problem I have with this signing. Bobby Wagner's what, 32?
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30.
He's on the wrong side of 30. All those years in Seattle where he took a pounding as one of the lead middle linebackers, and now he joins a Super Bowl champion. Kudos to him. But how are they going to use him?
It'll definitely be interesting to see.
The only way I could see them using him would be like fellas, correct me if I'm wrong, like how the Ravens would do with Ray Lewis, where the goal of the defensive line was to have number 52's jersey clean so he can pursue everything in front of him and just simply destroy what he surveys. That's the only way I can see the Rams actually do Wagner justice if they do that. But the problem, though, is you have the best defensive player in front of him in Aaron Donald. So you can't have him just simply play Space Eater. So that would cause a problem.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say I'm cool with them trying to help Wagner be successful, but if they're asking Aaron Donald to not rush the passer and just eat space, that is a huge mistake.
Tremendous mistake. They got away with it in the playoffs last year in the final 2 games, San Francisco and then Cincinnati, but there's no way they'll be able to get away with it this year, especially when you have the question of Von Miller floating over their heads.
No doubt. No doubt. You lose that kind of pass rushing presence and you haven't replaced him yet. It'll be interesting to see what happens there as well. I mean, Miller was no joke in the playoffs yet again this year, and he's a crucial piece. There's a reason they gave up a second and a third for him, and I don't think they were, expecting that to be a half a season rental.
See, here's the problem I've always had with the Rams, this iteration of the Los Angeles Rams. 3 separate times they've mortgaged their future. 3. Now, it paid off with a Super Bowl this past February. My question to you, and I'll start with you, Sam, do you see it paying off again?
As much as I hate to say it, yes, I do ultimately see it paying off. They have started this trend in the NFL where we see more and more teams building super teams, trying to get big names to their offense. We're seeing the same thing happen in Cleveland right now, I think. And teams are just more willing to trade away unknown commodities to get these proven players. And this is one of those situations where I think the Rams are kind of the front runners when it comes to this philosophy. And we saw it work with Tampa Bay as well. Last season when they brought in Tom Brady and with him came Gronk, and, they also got Antonio Brown and all these other names. It's one of those situations where I definitely think we're going to see more of this going into the future than we have in the past.
Let's go to Tampa Bay. Let's go to Tampa. Bruce Arians retires, moves to the front office. They scramble and name Todd Bowles their head coach for this upcoming year. Is that going to work?
It'll be interesting to see. I'm a big Todd Bowles fan. He's a former Eagles defensive coach, so I'm always trying to root for those guys when they get their opportunities. But obviously we all saw how he flamed out in New York with the Jets. There's a reason for it. I definitely think he's a good coach. He's in a great situation, and I like what Arians said about trying to set him up for success rather than, let him retire next year and leave it up to the team. It kind of like he had a hand in choosing Bowles, which is kind of cool to hear. But I'm surprised to see it wasn't Byron Leftwich, to be completely honest. I mean, Arians has been upselling Leftwich for years.
Well, here's why I'm not surprised. I think that was the direction that Arians wanted to go in the regular season 2020. But that stretch of the playoffs the defense had in leading to that Super Bowl championship, my thought then, I mean, as soon as the confetti was dropping on their own home field in celebrating their championship, was I think Arians might retire this year and they might slide Bowles in there. And I thought that as of last year, but it took a year. And ever since then, my thought was, okay, it's going to be Bowles. It's not going to be Leftwich. But they're going to try to put Leftwich into somebody else's ear and say he's a good candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that they're so against hiring Leftwich? Just out of curiosity.
Now, Byron Leftwich to me equals the situation of Eric Bieniemy, and Leftwich is looking for the perfect situation.
A bad interviewer.
Perfect situation. Yes.
I was hoping you were going to say those words.
Look, I gotta call it like I see it.
Yeah.
I gotta call it like I see it. And as unfortunate as it is, it just seems Leftwich and Bieniemy. Well, Bieniemy's staying put in Kansas City. Bieniemy is choosing to stay put.
He's going to be the next coach there.
Yeah. Bieniemy is choosing to stay put. Leftwich is looking for the perfect situation, and unfortunately, it's not going to come.
There isn't one. Yeah. His best hope was to actually have the Jaguars job if he wasn't so adamant about having his own terms be dictated to the team. Because he would be the head coach now instead of Doug Peterson if that were the case.
True. Very true. Your thoughts on that, Sam?
I definitely agree. I think it's a big reason why he's not there right now. And I'm sad to see it, quite honestly. I thought it would be really cool to see Leftwich back in Jacksonville. I don't think I've ever quite seen a situation exactly like that where a quarterback's retired, become a coach, and then been able to be the head coach of the team that drafted him. But I thought it was going to be really cool. And then when it fell apart, I was surprised to see Shad Khan choose Trent Baalke over Leftwich. But
yeah,
I guess if a candidate came into my building and was like, hey, I want you to fire this guy, otherwise I'm not coming here, I'd probably look another direction too.
Yeah. Well, Sam Shady joins us every Friday for some football conversation as we count down to the USFL season, but we gave you a little NFL this morning. Sam, always a pleasure, my man.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on, as always, and I look forward to coming back next week.
All right, thank you, Sam. Keep bringing it. Absolutely. That's the kind of guest we love having. Yeah. Folks that bring it. All right, and we're going to be called all kinds of things, all kinds of haters, but we don't care, okay? We don't care. Now, to the biggest piece of news that wasn't news when I said it in January. Jimmy Garoppolo staying put.
No, don't. No. Don't disappoint 49ers fan like that.
Go ahead.
Don't
the floor is yours.
Them. Don't disappoint 49ers fan like that. They want to have Trey Lance. They saw Justin Fields in Chicago get his shot in his rookie season. They're still upset that Trey Lance didn't get his in his rookie season. They want to turn the page. They see that Jimmy Garoppolo can only give them, 200 yards passing. He throws an interception every other game. And in the playoffs, it might be an interception a game. And he's not the guy that's going to win it for the 49ers. He's going to be the guy that wins in spite of them. No, they need to have Trey Lance there. It's unfortunate that they do not learn from their history because that's exactly what happened 35 years ago. Exactly. When they thought that
in terms of having Trey Lance as the quarterback right now, no. Because they seem to forget Jimmy Garoppolo is a winner.
Yeah. And this is funny that I'm saying this. That was how the 49ers thought back in 1987 because they saw that Montana was getting brutalized and beaten down, and he actually literally did get knocked out against the Giants in back-to-back playoff games against them. And they thought, okay, well, it looks like the ship has sailed. Heck, it's fine. He gave us 2 chips. He's now on the wrong side of 30. And he looks like he's injury prone. Yeah, we may need to look for the future. And so they bring in Steve Young, and Bill Walsh was like, I got to find a way to get him in because I'm not so sure about Montana. And then the debacle of the division round game in 87 happened where Anthony Carter decided to say, it's the other 21 of you, and then there's me. And you all just simply do not rate. I'm the best player on this field, and I'm going to prove it every single time the ball's thrown in my direction. And
11 for 221.
And in the midst of that game, Walsh decides to switch Montana with Young and thinking, okay, this will be the spark necessary. I think that this is the end of the road for Montana. And it led to a quarterback controversy that didn't get settled until the playoff, until a little bit before the playoffs in 1988. And it was all because they thought Montana was done, just like now they think Garoppolo is done. But
which he's not.
But he's not. In the fact, in the last 3 years, he's given you a Super Bowl trip and got you within 2 minutes of another. he's not called on to do everything. And I think that's the problem. People think quarterbacks have to do everything. Quarterback has to have the 60-yard arm. He has to have he has to throw through tight windows. He has to throw 40 times in the game. No, he's supposed to fit within the scheme of whatever the offense is. Garoppolo fits perfectly in the scheme that the 49ers wants to run, which is a power offense. They love to run and they love to throw safe passes. I don't see a problem with Garoppolo being on the team.
I don't either. I do not either. Chris Dietz gave a great answer about Byron Leftwich, and here it is, because Byron Leftwich was garbage before Tom Brady, and we won't get to see him without Tom Brady. You know? Yeah. I can't find the lie in that.
And it's unfortunate because he also will be tied to Jameis Winston's 30 touchdown
30 and 30
season.
Yep, 30 for 30.
Yeah.
I like Bobby Wagner to the Rams. I wish he was coming to Dallas. No, you don't. He ain't coming to Dallas.
Well, okay.
And I knew that. That's Ben. And I knew that from the beginning.
He would actually be, to me, he'd actually be a better fit there. He would be a better fit in Dallas.
No, he wouldn't. And I'll tell you why. The coach is involved.
Well, true. I'm not the biggest fan of McCarthy. But
McCarthy would F it all up. But I'm sorry, McCarthy would F it all up.
But what helps him is that you got Dan Quinn, who I believe Gerald actually would rather as head coach than McCarthy.
And why didn't Gerald pull the trigger?
Because
if you wanted Dan Quinn, God help us, as your head coach over McCarthy, then Gerald, why didn't you pull the trigger?
See, because Gerald loves brand names. Think about it. Either he wants to control somebody like a puppet, or if he can't control somebody like a puppet, he wants someone that's pedigreed. But he'd rather both. And in McCarthy, he has both. He can control that idiot like a puppet. He can control him like a puppet.
He can control him like a puppet, yeah.
And he has a Super Bowl ring attached to his finger. Now, granted, it was given due to the services of one Aaron Rodgers on offense and Charles Woodson on defense. Still, though, Charles
Woodson rescued that Super Bowl for Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Okay, I give no credit to Aaron Rodgers whatsoever, even though he did throw for 300 in the Super Bowl. And oddly enough, where was that Super Bowl played? In Jerry's house.
Yeah, in Dallas. But
where 103,000 people froze their asses off.
Mm-hmm. In a rare ice storm there. But that is what Jerry sees. He sees that pedigreed head coach and figures, okay, well, he could sprinkle that pixie dust over here and I could control his behind. Because I
haven't done that. Would you repeat your previous sentence, please?
Okay. Well, I mean, Gerald thinks he can sprinkle. Gerald would probably think of this way. Oh, I can have McCarthy sprinkle pixie dust all over my team because that championship is going to be brought home to Dallas. I mean, and he also laid in late QB in Aaron. He can lead my boy Dak to that Super Bowl championship. He could be that quarterback whisperer that we've been needing and that Dak been needing.
You see the look on my face, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And Dietz, you are fabulous with this. It ruins the Sean Payton pathway.
He wants
which is what
so
they're going to do now. I'm
Gerald so badly to be the head coach of the team. He's been wanting it for the last decade,
to say the least. He's been wanting Sean Payton for the last decade. He's been wanting Sean Payton since Sean Payton led the Saints to an upset win over the Indianapolis Colts in Miami. I believe that's where that was. In Miami.
In Miami.
So the Colts won a Super Bowl in Miami and they lost a Super Bowl in Miami. Oops.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least it was in different stadiums. So there you go.
Wrong. It was in the same stadium.
No. The Colts won one in the Orange Bowl. The Colts lost one.
No, they
now
didn't.
It's called Hard Rock. Yeah, it did.
They won one at Joe Robbie Stadium. Oh, that's right. Baltimore Colts. Colts.
But you were also
my brain is not all the way on this morning.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But you were also right. They did win one in Joe Robbie. You were correct.
And it's Joe Robbie Stadium. Forget Hard Rock Stadium or any other name it's had. I'm thinking the two that they played at Joe Robbie. Forgot about the 9 turnover debacle at the Orange Bowl.
Right.
Where they walked off against the Cowboys. And I believe that Super Bowl, if my brain is turned on right now, produced the only Super Bowl MVP from a losing team. It was Chuck Howley of Dallas.
You are correct. Because I don't think there was another one that produced a loser, a losing team member that was an MVP. Yeah.
I love you, Cool, for this. The Arlington football team will be the Arlington football team. And that's what I'm going to call them this year.
The Arlington football team.
The Arlington football team. And I also believe this. Sean Payton will not be Jerry's puppet. That's why he hasn't signed already. Sean knows what the story is.
I believe that is why Sean hasn't signed. Is because he wants to be his own man, and he was able to be his own man in New Orleans. I agree with you, Cole. 100.
He's not going to be his own man in Dallas.
No.
Or Arlington.
And plus, understand, Mr. Payton is a Bill Parcells disciple. And where was one of Bill Parcells' stops? Dallas.
I love you, Bill Parcells.
And
I wish he'd have finished his career with the Giants and then walked off.
I agree. And so I know that Bill and Sean talk, and I know in the intervening 16 years since his last visit on the Cowboys sideline, I know Bill's had at least one conversation with Sean where he says,
not 2 or 3, and tells Sean, don't you do that.
Yeah. Where he says, look, you will not be your own man. You will not run your own team. You'll be handcuffed there. I suggest you don't even touch that job in Dallas. I'm sure that conversation's happened at least once. At least once.
Yeah, at the very least once. I wouldn't take that chance if my life depended on it either. And people will give advice. Why don't you take the job at it? No. And one of my best friends back home is a Cowboy fan, and he's saying Sean Payton don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't you do that mess.
And I get it. His family lives near the area. I understand that this would be wonderful and it'd be storybook, and Sean loves to coach. He's a great head coach. No, I'm not arguing that at all. And do I think he could turn around the Cowboys? Yeah. But the problem is he won't be able to.
That's the truth. That is the truth. Parcells was building something special with the Jets until the Johnsons took over. Yeah, he was, because he was 3 minutes away from a playoff berth in 1997 when they lost to Detroit in the final game of the year, and that's when Barry got 2000. And then he was 30 minutes away from a Super Bowl appearance in 1998 when John Elway and the Broncos woke up from a slumber.
Yeah. Yeah, they were on their way to being a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, they were. And then the Johnsons took over, and that was the end of that.
Yeah. Well, at least we got butt fumble out the deal. So there you go.
Dear Lord. Dear Lord.
And I know Jess.
And on a Thanksgiving night.
Yes.
See, that play ruined Thanksgiving football for me, at least at night.
The night, yeah.
The night that they need to keep it at 2 games and be done.
I was actually at my parents' house. I saw that with my father, and in real time, and he and I both were resisting the laugh. But when the cascade of boos came down in MetLife on the Jets and on Jets in particular, we rolled. Both of us rolled laughing.
Oh yeah. I don't blame you. Listen, Ryan, the butt fumble is in football lore forever.
I'm sorry,
Period.
dude. That was hilarious, man.
Period. I didn't resist laughing. Matter of fact, I nearly threw up the drink that I had while laughing.
I'm like,
I nearly threw up the drink while laughing.
again, I was thinking, okay, so the Jets were horrible. Well, the Jets were well, yeah, they were in the 2000s. Of course, they hit their abyss later on in the decade, but they were and they tried to
and play sent them into the abyss.
Yeah. So, and they tried to they tried to spur themselves on with weird moves like Favre being on the team, but they get to the conference championship 2 out of 3 years, and then the 2 consecutive years, and then we see that. If that doesn't describe what a lot of people across the country think about the New York Jets
in the Meadowlands,
I don't know what does.
In the Meadowlands, come on, y'all! In the Meadowlands. Good grief! Because I thought I'd never see a play like that.
I didn't either.
Ever.
I never would have imagined that either.
I never thought I would see a play like that happen live.
I'll put it this way. I could probably excuse it if it happened in high school. Even though I still would think
I'd still be talking to that person like, how did that happen? How did you listen? I understand when plays like that mess up. I understand that. But doggone it.
But college is like, wow, okay, so the moment must have been too big, although you've done this for a minute. An NFL quarterback doing that? I'm like, oh man. And yes, Ryan, I know. Look,
listen,
Ryan,
if you're a Jets fan, that's gonna be hard to live down. Okay.
Ryan, I can relate with you. I am an Oilers fan. People can just throw the 1992 AFC wildcard game at my face, and I can relate 100% with you.
With a backup quarterback, because Jim Kelly didn't start that game.
That makes it even worse.
Jim Kelly didn't start that game. Y'all were beating Frank Reich to a bloody pulp.
Yeah, we were kicking Frank Reich behind the first half, and then we made Frank Reich basically
look like a genius.
Look like an absolute genius in the second half. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Ryan, I can't ever live that down. And now it's 30 years later. It's ridiculous, but I can't live that down.
When Bubba McDowell raced into the end zone and made it 35-3, I out loud with my dad in tow said game over. All right. And we thought, okay, let's just do something else. This game's done. Yeah. And we were waiting for the New Orleans game because New Orleans played that afternoon in the wild card game against Philadelphia. I believe they played the Eagles.
It was, yeah.
Cole, I must pose a question as an Oiler to you, being an Oilers fan, and yeah, I said Oilers. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be the Houston Texans. It should be the Houston Oilers. Mm-hmm. What the happened in the second half?
I would love to tell you what happened to spur the comeback. I kid you not. As soon as Bubba's foot touched that red part of the end zone that the Bills used to have at Bill Stadium, I didn't even see the extra point be kicked. I turned the TV off. I was like, "Oh, this is good. We'll see you in Pittsburgh. Bye."
So you at 34-3 walked off.
I walked off. I was like, "This it. This it." The Bills ain't shown up at the home place. Moon's clicking with that offense, and the defense is just stomping a mud hole in the Bills' behinds. I'm like, "Okay, this is over. I'm getting lunch." I walked,
I'm getting
and I was in the military at the time, so
the
I walked
only way you walk away from a game like that is to get food. That's it.
And that's what I did. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get lunch. All right. So I turned on the TV, got some lunch, and I was in the military at the time. Came back in my barracks after I walked around a little bit. I turned on the TV and I saw it was 35-17 with the Bills having the ball. I'm like, what the heck? and then I saw the BB touchdown where BB was forced out of bounds, but he got back in bounds. The referees didn't see it. And I was thinking to myself, you got to be joking me. And of course, I'm hearing Bill City going absolutely ballistic.
Tom Jackson said it's a touchdown if the refs don't see it. I
didn't
believe he went out. I didn't believe he went out of bounds until I saw the replay. Charlie Jones and Todd Christensen were calling that game for NBC.
That's correct. And and Tom is correct. He is absolutely right. If the refs didn't see it, he just stepped out of bounds. But yeah, that was, I remember that made it 35-24. Then Reich throws 2 touchdowns.
Andre Reed,
which
one at the end of the third quarter and one at the tail end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
and between those 2 touchdowns, nothing happened.
Right.
Between those 2 touchdowns, nothing happened. Punt, 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 punt. And then you hit Reed in the fourth quarter.
I just was like, I don't believe this. I was so.
I think Dietz has an explanation as to what happened.
It was the biscuit game. Yeah.
The biscuit game, yes.
which to your point, Deeds, the Bills defense, that's the best. I'm serious when I say this to you. I saw a lot of that defense that 4-year stretch. That 30 minutes from the time McDowell scored the touchdown to the end of that game, that is the best stretch of defense I have ever seen the Bills play. The best. Because as hard as the Oilers were just beating the Bills defense like a drum the first half.
Like a drum.
The Bills defense just all of a sudden automatically couldn't be solved the second. And I'm like, good Lord. And then when it got to overtime, it was a foregone conclusion.
That lob pass by Warren Moon. I can't even explain that one.
Oh my God.
I don't even want to explain that one.
Yeah, I never really, and to your point, Dietz, I never really looked at it as a Frank Reich coming out party because people who follow football knew he was capable backup.
Mm-hmm.
He was capable backup. It wasn't that I thought that he sucked. It was the thought of, well, that offense is not going to run as efficiently as it would if Jim Kelly was running it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Dietz is getting himself together, and we're going to bring him on right now. Yo, Dietz, what up, man?
What up, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys?
I get a chance to bring you on before I go to Indy and go to hospital, which is good. Chris Bass at the bottom of this hour. But Dietz, why'd you have to mention one of my favorite players in Cornelius Bennett? Why'd you have to do that to me?
One of mine too, actually.
Because he's like he's like the lost guy in all of that Buffalo. I mean, in that whole 4 year, and that's one of the best 30 for 30s they've ever done. The 4 year describing the Buffalo Bills. But you look at everybody they name off of that team. No one ever brings up Cornelius Bennett, but he was the one. He was the guy that pulled that defense aside, and I remember this from the documentary. He was the guy. He pulled them aside and said, "They don't score the rest of this game."
Here's what's funny about that. They mentioned Daryl Talley's name before they mentioned Cornelius Bennett's name.
Right. They mentioned Daryl Talley before they mentioned Cornelius Bennett. What? And y'all know I love me some Cornelius Bennett. Cornelius should have gotten the same amount of pub, if not more, for that defense.
Yeah.
Than anyone else outside of Bruce Smith.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah, Bruce Smith is
absolutely. He was at that's why you have to bring him up. I mean, everybody wants to say, "Oh, it was Frank Reich because he was the backup quarterback." That was Cornelius Bennett saying they're not going to score and we're going to win the game, and the whole team rallied around.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's a great point.
Yeah,
let's talk a little college football
that is
here.
A great point.
And what is up with this transfer portal, man? We were supposed to discuss it before, just never got the opportunity because my health went haywire.
I never knew that basketball actually participated in the transfer portal.
Oh, and it's getting worse.
I thought the transfer portal for basketball was the NBA.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
But no,
I was thinking that too. But now it's off the charts. The transfer portal
has ruined college. It's ruined the college football off season. It's ruined everything about. And I wish I remembered. The guy you need to focus on is the new quarterback at San Diego State. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why. He started at Oregon, transferred, I think, to Virginia Tech.
Oh my God.
And then this year he transferred to San Diego State. He's used the portal 3 years. Like, that's what the portal's not set up correctly. And it's a good start. Like, hey, if guys want to move around, they need to move around. But you need to limit. You need to put a cap on. You can't just move around year after year. And my solution to this is the reverse of the new rule they put in for the red shirt. You know, the rule, like, if you play 2 games, you can still red shirt. To me, they need to reverse that. If you play if you participate in more than 3 games with your team, you cannot enter the transfer portal the next season. So you can't pull Caleb Stroud or the quarterback at Oklahoma. You can't start the entire season. Oh, Lincoln Riley left. I'm out of here. That should not happen. You're the starting quarterback. Like, I understand the backup guy leaving because he's like, oh, well, I just got passed over. I have no chance to play. But the starting quarterback should not be able to say, you know what, I played every game. I'm leaving here. Mm-hmm. That's not cool.
Yeah, that's not
and
cool
it's also and it's not fair either.
No.
It's not fair either that starting quarterback gets to start every game and then doesn't like the situation and then leaves.
And that's fine. If he wants to leave, if he wants to say, you know what, I'm done with this university, I leave, that's fine. Then you regularly transfer, and you have to deal with the whole all the stuff that comes with that. You have to sit out the year, and it because that's what you want to do. That's how it should work. It keeps coaches from doing this stupid redshirt thing where, hey, we're going to play you the first 3 games and then sit you the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. And all of the shenanigans that have been pulled with that, it stops a lot of that. And that would be my fix. That's the fix to it. Is cap.
Would you do the same? Would you do the same for basketball? Because now that's getting crazy.
I really don't know what I know how much of a problem it is with basketball, because basketball, you're just going. Guys are going to the NBA. Guys can just go to the NBA. Mm-hmm. If guys don't like where they're playing, I mean, I think it should be all sports. If you play more than a certain number of games. Now, basketball, I don't know. I don't know how long the basketball season is. So you have to come up with whatever the number is, like whether it's like 33%. If you play in over 30% of the games, you shouldn't be able to just say, you know what, I'm out of here. I leave.
Yeah, agreed with that. What's up, Sick Diggy? Joining us here from Norway, I think. So now we're an international sports show.
So
I'm loving it.
You know why Snowman knows why I wanted to get on the show. And Snowman, I sent the article to Snowman. Yeah. I know he knows the answer to the question I'm going to ask, but I'm going to give this to you, Cole, and I want to see if you can come up with the answer to this question.
All right.
So I sent Snowman an article about college football.
Which
here's the title. Here's the title of the article. I want to see if Cole knows this. The title of the article was Power 5 becoming a Power 2? Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
That was the name of the article. Now, Cole, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever heard that before?
I haven't heard it before, but reading the tea leaves, I could see it.
I know you've heard it before because I know where it was said before, and I know when it was said. It was said September of last year when I said they wanted to make this the SEC Big Ten Invitational.
Yeah,
that's what they want, and I said it 6 months ago, and they reported it yesterday.
How many times have we talked about that? You know, even before I took Cole on as a partner, Chris, we were talking about this when I was still up in Michigan City. We were talking about this when I was still up in Michigan City.
This is what people aren't understanding.
They want to eliminate every other conference, it seems, and just keep the SEC and the Big Ten.
They don't want to increase the increase in teams. The addition of playoff slots is not to get more people. Is not to get more in. It's to get more of what they want in.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and look at if they had a 12-team playoff last year, they had a 12-team playoff last year. 8 out of the 12 would have been SEC and Big 12 and Big 10.
Yes.
8 out of the 10. That's what they want to do. That's why I've said, look, you can expand the playoff to, you can expand it to 64 teams. I don't care. What needs to be changed is the process. The selection process needs to be, it can't just be, these are the teams we want and these are the teams we're going to put in. There has to be a way to make you say, well, we're putting these teams in because they earned it. Because all you're doing by putting 12 teams in, you're going to have 8 of the 12 be SEC and Big Ten, and the rest of them, and that what does that do? It makes the odds a lot better. You're going to get an SEC Big Ten title game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're gunning for. I mean,
or
it's
an
not
all
a
SEC final like we just had.
It's not a shock. It's not a shock that Texas and Oklahoma want to be in the SEC. It's not a shock.
No. Notoriety, the money, chances of getting in the playoff, because they weren't going to have it in the Big 12.
But I remember Snowman. I remember when we had this conversation. When we had this conversation on the air on this program, I remember the comments on the side. I remember people saying we're nuts. No, it's not.
Yes.
It's not about excluding it. People, the addition to playoff teams is about exclusion. It's not about inclusion.
It really is.
They don't want to bring more tents. They don't want to bring more people in. I mean, the article, which I only got to read half of it because The Athletic is
a paywall.
It's basically
a
subscription based premium.
And I will say here and now, articles like that we write and put together and voice for SDM Sportsnet will not be behind the paywall.
Yeah,
we want the fans to get what they need.
But before I got kicked out, I got to read a lot of their information. You look at it, the Big Ten and the SEC doubled. The other 3 big conferences doubled their cash intake and their from the national media. It's double what the other 3 make combined.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to tell me it's a fair process. You know, it's not the
fair process. No,
everybody's getting a piece of the pie, and they're not.
They're really not. Because I will say this: within the Big 12. Well, actually, it happened in 2006, but let's speed up a couple of years. What if Texas won it all again? I'll give a question that I gave to Cole and to you, Deeds, because we talked about this. Let's go back 2 years. Let's go back to the COVID year. Mm-hmm. What if Northwestern wins the damn thing? You think that share is going to be fair? What if Northwestern wins the Big Ten title game in Indianapolis? You think that share is going to be fair? Because everyone was banking on Ohio State obliterating NU. And NU hung with them until 13 minutes remained in the fourth quarter, and Ohio State got their act together.
Well, here's what will back your play. So remember, the NCAA said that we won't accept teams to play in the playoff unless they played a certain amount of games.
Right.
Well, when the Ohio State-Michigan game got canceled, it left Ohio State with one game less than they qualified for. It was funny how the NCAA, even if they were to go to play the Big Ten championship, they would have the requisite games that they needed. But it's funny how the NCAA looked at that and said, one of our cash cows, through no fault of their own, can't make it. Yeah, it's a little unfair. Oh, the water's a little lighter. Okay, yeah, let's write let's write the exception here.
And within 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days they were eligible. So, yeah, to your point, Deeds, we were starting to see the tea leaves on the wall, and that was before you made that statement back in September, where the NCAA is angling to have the NCAA be about the SEC and the Big Ten, at least in football. And that's a scary proposition.
Yeah, it is.
Because we're starting to see it, and we're starting to see it and later on this past year, we're starting to see it in the rankings, because that's how it was happening.
And just think about this. And this is why playoff expansion. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this playoff yet. Why? Because what is it about college football that is great? The greatest aspect of college football is the regular. It is the most important regular season in all of sports. The regular season matters. You want to know what happens when they expand it to more teams getting in?
It's not going to matter anymore.
A, ruin the regular season. B, look what happened this year. Oregon goes to Ohio State and beats Ohio State in the horseshoe. It didn't matter at all. If Ohio State wins out the rest of their games, they still get in. Guess what? That Oregon game didn't matter at all.
Right.
So now you're going to get that. Then on top of it, you're going to get people that say, wait a minute, why am I going to play? Why would I want to play this big game if it doesn't matter? The whole point of regular season big time games is that they matter, and that one team you go, all right, they win, they're going to be on the fast track. The loser is going to be out. That's what makes it a big game.
Non-conference or conference.
You're going to lose all of that. The more you expand it, and the more you make it. Look, I'm all for expanding it. I'm all for having a playoff, but you need to define how teams make the playoffs so that we can still have the regular season matter.
Define the
If
process.
you make it so the regular season doesn't matter, then college football loses all of its allure.
It does.
There's a reason why Saturday is bigger. Saturdays are bigger than Sunday. In most of the country, Saturdays are bigger than Sundays. There's a reason for that.
There is. There really is.
If you make it about a playoff and you take away those big Saturdays, you're destroying the essence of college football.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hate that. I'm gonna have to take a break. But Deeds, thanks for hopping on, my man. I'm glad you were standing by for us. I really appreciate it.
Always, man. And before I go, good luck with everything. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Can't wait till you're back and we get this rolling again. All right.
Thank you, partner. I really appreciate it.
See you, brother.
Cole.
Thank you, man.
All right. Gotta take a break because my body is saying so right now. But we got Chris Bass coming in 10 minutes as we enter the Boom Shakalaka, his title. And y'all are going to love it. Back in 4.
listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here. I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
You're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go, babe. I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back as we speed toward home here, and I have to give a special birthday shout out to my dear friend Charles Faulkner, who turns 40 today. Oh. So, Mr. Faulkner, woo! That's for you, baby. Happy birthday, Charles. Chris Bass will come in about 8 minutes. Let me say good morning to Latina Pro-Constitution American Patriot. The Latina Patriot joins today. Eric Wallace, Sick Diggy is here. Dietz just hopped on with us. Ryan McCarthy, Cool McCain. I'm shouting everybody out. Ben Sunnerth, the Shady Sports Network. Sam Shady joined us to help kick off the show this morning, but yeah, we're getting great participation, and y'all know what's going on. Next week, I'll be in the hospital in Indy, and Cole will take the chair for me, and we're gonna keep this thing rolling right along. Now then, I need to do this so I can incorporate something.
Oh, Lord.
So I had a conversation with an Irvingologist.
Oh, no.
Yeah. In the form of a buy or sell question.
That picture makes me laugh every time I see it. I'm sorry.
Makes me laugh, too. Because that's exactly how I asked you to be creative, and that's exactly how an Irvingologist would look.
Yeah.
Smoke everywhere.
That I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect.
Smoke everywhere. In the form of a buy or sell question.
Oh my.
This fish-eyed fool had the absolute gall to say buy or sell Kyrie Irving can still be the best point guard in the NBA. I gave a simple answer. Sell.
Sell. Now
Sell.
I'm like, which one of those dudes was it? Was it Mortimer? Yeah, I'm like, no, it was Randolph.
Yes.
Sal in the trading places.
Yes. Let's enter the boom shakalaka with Chris Bass, my brother. How you doing, man?
You gotta tell him to sell.
Get back in there and sell.
Oh, I love that.
Get back in there at once and sell. And the guy just falls out.
Right, love it. Classic movie, man.
Yes, I love Trading Places.
And
fantastic.
3 seconds later, the buzzer sounds, and their life is over.
And when you have a cast like that going back to Trading Places, one of those situations where all the stars align right, get the right people, right director, John Landis, Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd anchoring the whole movie. It's a fantastic tour de force. And you watch it over and over again. And what I like about it, again, it's like one of those movies that it gets better and better every time you watch it.
Right.
It does.
It does.
It does. My wife and I watched it, and she said to me, why did it take you so long for us to watch this? Why did it take us so long for us to watch this movie together? I said, we've been busy. We've had other things to take care of first. Yeah. Chris came up with the name for his segment, Enter the Boom Shakalaka, and immediately I went to NBA Jam. I found the soundbite that I needed. I have to turn it into an intro, but perfect. That's all I can say, man. Perfect.
Oh, well, the Boom Shakalaka. Okay, what was the motivation of the name?
Well, the motivation of the name is funny because I do a show called CBI, Chris Bass Interviews, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. I interviewed a colleague of mine. His name is Perry Williams. And Perry Williams is a fantastic news anchor here out of Chicago, works for iHeartMedia. And then he asked me the question during the interview, because I asked you a question. I said, yeah. When did you become the Boom Shakalaka? Because before I started using the moniker, he used it. He used to work with the late, great Doug Banks. He did news for Doug Banks' local show on WGCI here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. It was Doug Banks that gave him the moniker, the Boom Shakalaka. And I forgot all about it. Maybe I just put it in the subconscious of my head.
Yeah.
I came up with it when I was at WVON, and a guy in the hallway recognized my voice, my days back at WLS-AM doing talk. Oh, man, how you doing? Gave him the bro hug and everything. I used to listen to you overnight, and glad you're over here, man. Hey, man, you the Boom Shakalaka. I said, oh, I'm not to steal that. So I stole it. And then when I used to work for Cool Out Radio, when we had a multi-host program, everybody had their own individual branding or moniker. So Cool Out would go to me, Chris Bass, Boom Shakalaka. And that's how the whole thing started.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Oh, that's fabulous. Sig Diggy checking in from Norway. My favorite scene was Dan Aykroyd choking Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
While the latter was doing it was not Dukes. It was not
you, Valentine.
Even to the point where when Billy Ray Valentine gets Dan Aykroyd's crib and he has the party, kicking everybody out, two dudes he was to sell with. Hey, that was a stone groove, my man.
Yeah, right.
Get the hell out of here. Come on, let's go.
Oh, I can't believe it.
And he wait a minute. And to get everybody's attention, he scratched the record that was playing.
Right. Yes.
May I have your attention, please?
Nobody moved. Attention, please. And then and everybody get out. Out.
He was right. You invited ne'er-do-wells, hookers to your party, and he's getting all upset, and rightfully so. Who put the cools out on the floor and stuff like that. Doesn't happen when you invite pimps, old Negroes, old Negrettes, and pimps and whores. You know, and it just the whole thing was just ridiculous. But again, like there was an old pimp. I call him old pimp. He had a cowboy hat on.
Yes.
And, the suit and the vest. That's my baby. Right over there. She's topless. You know what I'm saying? But he was proud of that. Yeah, that's my baby. Right over there.
Baby right over there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Classic. And you can quote lines from like any other movie. It's
when you can. It's like you said. When you can quote lines from when you can quote lines verbatim from a movie that you know you've seen over and over again, you know it's a classic. Yes. You and I will have Stand By Me and now Trading Places. And when I did the question, get back on, all I could see was Cole's face. I could see their faces. Get back here there at once and sell.
Well, Lean on Me is another classic. Morgan Freeman owns the role of Joe Clark.
My God!
Once again, because you might miss stuff. One of my favorite scenes now, of course, unfortunately, when he gets arrested. So he gets arrested, and the lady that has the recorder, black ass out. He was like, "Hey, put on this. Sam, get back to your class." Now he didn't say the fact that like he called her a bitch. He agreed with that. We'll get back to class. Hey, bitch, put on this. Sam, get back to your class.
Very few people will catch that.
I did not catch that.
Very few people will catch that.
Oh my gosh! He
just turned around and let Sam get back to class, and that was that.
I watched that. I'm about to out myself. I watched that movie at least once every other month for 3 years solid, and I still did not catch that part.
It's very subtle, like I said, it's very quick. But it goes over your head quick, like I said before. Like you, I watched it and then catch stuff I didn't catch before. Because in the moment, you see him get arrested, and that's where you get caught up in.
Right.
It was real quick. Sam, get back to your class. And so most people like, don't call her a bitch. What's wrong with you? He didn't say that.
No.
He agreed with that part.
He agreed with that part and then just said, Sam, get back to class.
Right. I mean, another line real quick was his assistant principal, vice principal, Mr. Clark, you just threw out the fire department chief. You know what he's saying right now? Black bastard can't throw me out. You know where he's saying it? Out in the parking lot. Classic. That is great stuff.
Oh my gosh. Now I gotta watch Lean on Me now. God,
well, yes, you have to.
Oh my gosh. They used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they call me Batman.
Yes. I remember seeing the real Joe Clark on when Nightline used to come on. Was like 10:35 p.m. Central Time, and he was pretty much saying, "That's not me. I mean, it's me, but you know, I'm pretty much the real deal. I'm more hardcore than the movie version there." But yeah, Joe Clark was really an interesting guy.
Yeah. It might have been the same time I called him because I was thinking the same thing. I think I only seen him once, and he did look like that type of guy where he was like, okay, I could believe a lot of that happened in the movie, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I bet you it was even more hardcore in real life.
Oh yeah,
they probably toned down what Joe Clark really was.
Exactly. I think Morgan did a good job capturing what Joe Clark's presence was, but you know, it's subject to interpretation, as we all know. And the great thing about that was, I mean, the scenes between him and Robert Guillaume.
Oh, those are my favorite scenes.
Yes,
those are my favorite scenes of the movie because, I was not really all that familiar with Morgan Freeman as an actor. I mean, I knew a little bit about him before then.
Yeah,
but I did not know he had that type of range. And of course, I was a huge Benson fan.
Right.
So I was seeing these two greats in the same scene at the same time. I was thinking, well, how will this work? And it was like magic. It was like seeing two brothers just going at it and enjoying themselves. Like before the director said action, They're like, yeah, let's just show off. Let's just show off the show out.
Exactly.
And then when they said cut, I could just picture the two of them just arm in arm with each other, just laughing their butts off.
But that goes back to experience. I mean, when I researched both men, I mean, I remember watching Morgan Freeman as a kid on Electric Company.
Right.
PBS.
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
Right. I do too.
That's my first introduction to him. Then years later, I see him in Street Smarts, I believe, with Christopher Reeve. And then, going his background, Morgan Freeman, just like his counterpart, Robert Guillaume, both did Broadway. They both did Broadway. They're stage actors and stage musicians and stage performers. Robert Guillaume was the lead for a play called Pearly Victorious. And then it was a musical. He was the lead for that. That also starred Melba Moore and Sherman Hemsley. That's how Sherman Hemsley was discovered to do George Jefferson, to do the Jeffersons. By doing that play. And then prior to that, Morgan Freeman had worked on Broadway. He did like a whole black version of a play called Hello, Dolly.
Yes.
I remember.
He was a part of that too.
Okay.
So all this range, all that range came out, that experience came out. Those scenes, those two together, man, that should be like a masterclass. I'm a fan of film.
100.
But when they were in, but the battle they had back and forth, when they're going back and forth, the courtroom, and that's, I love
that was something else.
Yeah. I saw that scene. I saw that scene 6 months ago.
Okay.
And when I finished that, I had to watch it, and I caught myself watching it and realizing it was like 20 minutes that went by. I'm like, dang, I watched this thing about 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah.
It was just beautiful how they interplayed with each other. It was it was perfect.
That's what brothers do. That's what family do. They go back and forth and call you all types of Mother Hubbards, and then afterwards, let's go eat.
I just looked at that.
It's true.
It was just beautiful.
It's true.
You think you bad now, don't you? I love that.
Get used to it the way of the world. It was like you, damn it, start by accepting mine. Contrary to popular belief, I'm the head Negro in charge. He didn't use Negro, but right. Man,
yes,
classic. Jerk that briefcase. You were kowtow. You were step and
fetch it.
If I have to pull, if I gotta pull a line from Stand By Me, or one of my favorite lines, because Chris kept saying it every time before we went on air to put us in a good mood. Chris would walk into the studio, and I'd turn my head and I'd grab my face like this, and like, I know he's gonna say something stupid, and I'm gonna start laughing. And all of a sudden, Chris just leans over and go, "They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they call me Buttman." I fell out.
Oh Lord, it's like a big bird. It's like a big bird. They're taking all the hits.
He's like a big bird radar. I'm tired of getting hit.
I'm trying to get hit. Oh my gosh!
And
the courtroom scene alone, I could just
yes.
Your personal battles are going to cost us the war. I mean, just the energy alone between those two men were just
yes.
You can't.
Absolutely.
Again, just great experience.
Yeah.
You can't fake that.
No.
You can't fake that kind of brotherhood.
Oh my God.
Oh,
You
real
just
quick,
can't.
real quick, Rayman. I call you Rayman. Everybody call you Snow. I call you
Yes.
Rayman. Now, how long is my segment? Do I have like a half hour or 15 minutes, or I want to bring into something else I want to talk about?
Keep going.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let you know when we're about to wrap up here, but keep going.
It would be a crime if you had your phone at 15
Keep
minutes.
going.
Okay, great. Okay. So, a couple things on my mind. I want to give a shout out to Shaheen Holloway, who is now currently the new Seton Hall coach, as we saw what he did with his team.
St. Peter's, yes.
That's what I love about March Madness. The coaches and universities and colleges don't get enough shine, and they get the shine that they do when they come into March Madness and the Final Four. And for him to go back to his alma mater,
right?
I think so. Big ups to him.
Yeah.
Also, the transfer portal that's going on. I know it's mixed reviews. I know people say, well, they shouldn't do it. I think they should, and this is why. So years ago, I would get this magazine out of Wisconsin called East Bay. So East Bay is a sporting goods.
I remember East Bay.
Right.
I remember East Bay.
I would give my sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead. Got all my sneakers there because for some reason I go around Chicago, Foot Locker, anywhere else, Hey man,
can't find them.
Hey, you guys, this is a size 13. I'll go back and check. Come back, nope.
Come back, no.
And I got
knowing good and well they did. Knowing good and well they didn't have 13s. Knowing good and well they didn't carry 13s.
I talked to other guys. They would just get it earlier because they went on delivery day.
Mm-hmm.
Delivery day was Wednesday. Only have like maybe 7 size 13s and whatever shoe model they got, and then he went on and got that. And then my lazy butt would get up at the crack of dawn, and I'm Cal Cracula, and I try to get there on a Saturday, Sunday, and it's not there anymore. So I'm like, okay, I got to change my game. So that's when I started East Bay. I get my shoes from there. Then I was looking through the magazine at the time, and they had, NBA jerseys. I'm checking them out. From the other page, it's college jerseys that you could pay for with certain people's name on the back. That was football and basketball. I'm like, okay, that's interesting to sell college jerseys. So obviously the students ain't getting a dime from it at all.
Right.
So the colleges have made this into a business.
Yeah.
Pay them. I'm talking about you can't give them $1 million salary or something like that. You can give them a stipend because all colleges are broke. I mean, when you're in college, Ramadan or ramen noodles, wherever you eat or something like that, or White Castles or something like that, yeah, because it's cheap.
Ramadan noodles.
Yes, Ramadan noodles.
That's right.
You know better, Chris. You know
Ramadan noodles.
It's too late. You know what noodles you're eating. You get chicken flavor, beef flavor,
right?
Beef flavor.
Ramadan
noodles. Right.
See, we got to keep that. We got to keep that. And invoke that into the intro. The Ramadan.
Whenever someone from the Islam faith goes into that holy season, I'm going to think of noodles now, thanks to you. And I know it was on purpose. That's what makes it even funnier and even more angry.
I don't want to offend the Ramadan community. I don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
Or even the Ramadan noodle community. I'm not trying to offend anybody. So my point is, it's cheap food to get, and we've all gone through that. Whether it's, whatever I said before, White Castle, Ramadan noodles, or whatever. Give the students a stipend. If you want to make it educational, have them take like a business class.
Yeah.
Learn about, your
I agree with that.
CDs and 401k plans and stuff like that. That way it'd be more educational. But now that they can make money off their likenesses, good on them. Good for them. Not everybody's going to go pro. Not everybody's going to go overseas and make money. If you're in that time zone, for whatever time you're in college, to make a profit from your time performing as a student athlete, I say go right ahead.
I agree with that. I agree with that because the NCAA, like you said, Basis turned it into a business, and they've been making money off their names
hand over fist
as long as I remember. Anybody remember the Carolina team from '82? Or the Georgetown team from 82.
Yeah.
I mean, how else can you be able to put 60,000 people in the Superdome?
Yeah.
Even though the ticket prices weren't as absorbent as they are now, and this weekend the men's Final Four is in the Superdome.
Superdome again, yeah.
But they deserve more than their share. Okay, pay them their share. No, I don't. Pay them what they need. Okay. Pay them what they need. That's the side I've always been on, because you're making hand over fist billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars a year from their likenesses. You mean to tell me they can't get a piece of that? A big piece of that? So they can stop eating the White Castles and the Ramadan noodles and everything else? And believe me, when I went away to college in 1990, for a while I lived on ramen noodles. I did.
Yeah. It's what's right.
It is.
I understand about
it really is.
These people who are in charge of these universities, and then once again, what Cole just said, making money hand over fist. If you gave a stipend or some money to your college athletes, you're not going to miss anything.
You're really not.
That's how much of a dent you won't even put into it. There will be no dent whatsoever. Set up a certain pipeline, certain revenue stream for them, and you won't miss it because you're making millions, probably into the billions, depending on what kind of university you are.
And don't get me started on the don't get me started on the SEC and the money that they make, no matter what the sport.
They have their own island. I mean, they
Yeah,
have
they
their
do.
own network via ESPN on cable. So come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean,
shout out to
have
Paul
you
Farmer.
seen? Let's really go there. Have you seen the baseball stadiums in the SEC? I mean, you would think you were in minor league ballparks.
Exactly.
You would think they were in minor league ballparks, and every year it seems like they're doing some kind of renovation or they're building a new park. Example, LSU. They tore down in 2009 the old Alex Box Stadium. They put up the new one, which is bigger and better. I had a chance to get a tour of it. And every ballpark in the SEC is like that. Every ballpark in the SEC is like that. And you go, what?
You can tell that there is a premium that the conference places on athletics.
Yes.
That you can see the financial wherewithal and the windfall from it. And this must be a credo that they have. It's like, okay, we want in the SEC for sure. You know, we want to have the best facilities, period. We want to basically clown every other conference, no matter if it's this level or the levels below, because we want them to see that this is going to be for these athletes that come to our programs, the springboard for them to go to the pros. You know, like what Bay said earlier, even if they know most of them will not make it to the pros.
Mm-hmm. SEC, ACC, University of Texas, and Pac-12 all have their own networks. It's crazy to see how much these conferences have grown, but the athletes see little outside of their scholarship. Very true point, Ryan. Very true point.
Oh, and the NCAA is a non-profit business.
Oh, they're
since when?
Oh, that's a flying lie.
We know that's a flying lie.
Yes,
we see the evidence.
Well, it's one
we
of those
see
things.
we see the evidence. Look at the renovation to the arenas, like Assembly Hall in Champaign, which is now called State Farm Arena for some god awful reason. But also, look at the arenas they build. Anybody remember when the SEC was burgeoning in the 90s? Anybody remember when Bud Walton Arena showed up in Fayetteville, Arkansas? When Bud Walton Arena showed up to replace Barnhill Arena,
I missed that.
And everybody's like, "Wait a minute! When did their attendance go from 9,000 to 20,000 per game?"
And it was all to compete with Kentucky, who at Rupp Arena they could see 22,000.
It was every SEC team wants to compete with
in basketball
Rupp Arena, which is the biggest arena in the SEC. Thompson Bowling Arena is now at 22,000.
Yeah, but they probably reached the 22,000 themselves there. Yeah,
but it's like it's what Bay said, and it's what you said, Cole. They're making the SEC alone is making money hand over fist that can cover all the bills with the NCAA. SEC alone can bring that in and still have chunks and chunks and chunks of money remaining to pay the kids.
Yeah,
you can do that.
What we've seen what we've seen over the years is like when I was in college in the Stone Age, and I was taking a class called Radio Sales, and my instructor was named Sid. We called him Sid Vicious. Sid was like all of 5 feet tall. He had 2 strands of hair that went from here over to here. Had a fly-by-night collar. His belt went up damn near to his chest, and he hiked it up there. But that's why the man looked like that. He dressed from 1950.
Really, we're so rough with this base.
But no, he would tell you if he was. I don't know if he's still alive. You know, God rest his soul if he passed away. But what he did for us in radio sales was he showed us that radio was a business. I never forget, ladies and gentlemen. He was very, articulate, very, strong forward. He wrote on the board, show business, big show, and little business in little letters.
Smart.
Yes. Then he reversed it. It was little show and big business written out. So when you, as my man said from Boomerang, reversed it, when you reversed it and you saw it from the business angle for what it was, it got you a whole different mindset. So first and foremost, we have seen over the years, especially with the boom of the internet, with the boom of power brokers and backers and people like that and boosters with these colleges, is first, foremost, and always will be a business.
Yeah. 100.
There'll always be a business first before anything else.
That's right.
And it's amazing that the NCAA, even now, 2022, they still want to paint this picture that they are the paragons of amateur athletics.
They are the wholesome amateur athletics. No, they're not.
And the fact that they so literally pillage these men and women athletes to where they have the audacity to have out of their mouths say, it is not the name on the back of the jersey that matters. It's the name on the front
of the jersey, which is some bull crap.
Well, a prime example is that with the Fab Five.
Yes,
back in the day.
Right.
All that.
Let's go a couple years before the running reps from 1990.
Say UNLV, yeah,
UNLV, correct.
Mm-hmm.
The running reps were the running rep. Hell, Jerry Tarkanian alone was a brand in and of itself.
Hell,
because he gave these kids a chance.
Biting on was branding,
right?
He would bite the hell out of that towel, man. I'm like,
yeah, he would.
Yep. Oh Lord.
I would watch. It got to the point where I love Jerry Tarkanian. He was a fantastic coach. Even went to Fresno State, he was still a fantastic coach. The dude was up there, got that towel going. I feel sorry for the towel.
Same.
I feel sorry for the towel
because they would soak the daylights out of that towel.
Man,
they would soak the daylights out of that towel.
If he lost all of his teeth and still was gumming that towel,
oh Lord.
You can make you can look. You could have branded the towel. The towel, have a company name behind it. He could just sit there and bite it, and then do a video like "We be gumming." We be gumming.
Oh gosh!
Right. That dude, man.
Man, Jerry Tarkanian, coaches like Mike Krzyzewski, Jerry Tarkanian, Dean Smith, Roy Williams were a brand all to themselves.
Yes.
They were a brand all to themselves. You can throw Riley Massimino in the program. John Thompson. Okay, right. Because Riley Massimino took down the big bad Georgetown Hoyas in 1985.
We be gumming.
At Rupp Arena. We be gumming. Yep.
I'm like Chris Bass actually said we be gumming.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's gonna Cole, that's gonna stick.
Yep. Go back to Ice Cube, we be clubbing. We be gumming.
That's why I am not liking you again right now, because you could give me that earworm. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, now I'm going to have to listen to We Be Clubbing.
We Be Clubbing. Instead of We Be Clubbing, We Be Gumming. All right, we got to get out of here. But Chris Bass, thank you so very much, my man. Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. Much, much appreciated.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
And real quick, much love to the both of you. Snowman,
yes.
Rayman, you got this. Take care. You're my thoughts and prayers. You're going to take care of business.
Thank you. Thank you. We're leaving for Indy on Saturday. Thank you, Bass. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Take care. Peace. Both of you.
Man, I'm going to have so much fun stomping a mud hole in Cancer's ass and walking it dry.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have much fun watching you do it.
We leave Sunday for Indy, and the operation is on Monday. So, as y'all know, I will be out of the chair for a week. Cole Johnson will take the chair for me. Anything that you need, you let me know, and I will get it to you as fast as I can. Somebody break out the Bill Duke line. I'll do that when I get back. Diggy, I'll make you a promise. I'll break out the Duke line when I get back in the chair. That's a promise. All right. We got to bust out of here. So thank you all very, very much. I will be gone next week. Cole Johnson will take the chair and he will guide you through the next 5 shows, and then I will be back in the chair ready to get things going again. So I thank you all very, very much for your thoughts and your prayers. I thank you all for everything, for just being there. And by Monday night, this fight will be over and I will be resting comfortably in my hospital room. So until Cole takes the chair on Monday, and he'll take it next week, have a great weekend. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And Cole, what do they need to remember?
If your dreams don't scare you, then they're just not big enough. And Cancer,
dream big. Go ahead.
And Cancer, you're gone, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And bye-bye, Irvingologists. I will see y'all in 1 week's time. I love you. We're out of here.